Festival makes Charleston an amazing, amazing place, and I want to thank you all for everything that you do. But he also is a singer-songwriter and grew up this way, and he's another one that I've had the pleasure of getting to interview live on WTSQ, and I'm going to let Zach Harold take this away.
Thank you for the kind words about Festival. WTSQ also makes Charleston a really cool place, and Festival is a proud underwriter of WTSQ for that very reason. I want to tell y'all about this guitar that I'm playing. This is not mine. I did not steal it. It is on a long-term loan from my cousin Frank Foster. He bought it in the 70s to play in a gospel band with my grandfather, Paul Harold. Paul Harold, if I start sweating, it's because I come from 2 generations of Pentecostal preachers. Paul was a Pentecostal preacher. When they asked him if he handled snakes, he said, "Yes, I sure do, with the business end of a hoe." He was not that kind of. But he was a Pentecostal preacher. He was a guitar player. He was a singer. He was a coal miner. But in the mid-'60s, he found himself out of work and had 5 kids and a wife and a little house in Jody, West Virginia to take care of, and no means to take care of them. So one night at church, he asked for prayer, and they gathered around, laid hands on him, and prayed over him that he'd find a job. And the next day he had 2 job offers. And the one that he took was for this big Army Corps of Engineers project that was happening in Nicholas County. They lived in Fayette County, Nicholas County, just a hop, skip, and a jump over. And that's the job he took on the blasting crew for this Army Corps of Engineers project that would create what we now know of as Summersville Dam. But as I've gotten older, I've been thinking about, that job that allowed my family to survive also meant a lot of destruction for people who, were from around that same area. A lot of families, there was a community that was where the dam is now, had been there since the 1800s, a little farming community, some houses down in there, and all those people had to be relocated for that project to go forward. And to make matters worse, not only did they make them leave their home, they also erased that town completely from the map because somebody figured out that it probably wouldn't play very well for the town, for the dam to be named after the town. Some of you know this story. The town was called Gad, and they did not want to name it the Gad Dam. Just insult to injury. But this song is written from the perspective of McKenna. That was a great song, by the way. This is not a song about a ghost. This is a song about a ghost town. I wrote this from the perspective of an old boy who lost the home place for that Army Corps of Engineers project. This is called Big Gad Dam. Rivers rising in the valley, higher than I've ever seen. Water creeping up the hillsides, climbing up the trees. We sold out when they asked us, 'cause what they can't buy, they'll just take. Now the house that I was born in is at the bottom of a lake. Men in Charleston called it progress. We smiled and shook each other's hands. Now the Corps might call it Summersville, but to me it's just a big Gad Dam. With dynamite and concrete they tame the upper gully, that those below might not be lost. Time will tell if their plans will turn to folly. We're left to bear the cost. My preacher said the few must suffer for the many. We're the sacrificial lambs. But now his pulpit's 300 that stood beneath the wave. When the sea, her dead, finally surrenders, I hope the good Lord checks the lake. You might see a modern marvel, nature bent to whims of man. Folks in speedboats call it Summersville, but to me it's just a big Gad Dam. Folks in speedboats call it Summersville, but to me it's just a big Gad